Welcome to FBB Forum. If you like this content, please be sure to like and subscribe. I'm very pleased to welcome the stunning IFBB pro women's bodybuilding competitor, Donna Salib, to the podcast. Donna just recently placed in the top 4 at the Masters Olympia and competed in her first Ms. Olympia contest last year. And she earned her pro card in 2017 at the North Americans and is considered definitely one of the top women's bodybuilders in the world. Thank you so much for joining me, Donna. It's really pleased to be here.
Great to be here.
Thank you. Now, I was curious, did you have an athletic or a sports background before you started in bodybuilding?
Actually, no. Quick recap on my youth. I'm the second oldest of 6 kids, so I have a very large family.
Wow.
And sports are not cheap by any means, with everything. So really none of us kids really participated in any sports or anything. And I mean, I played around in the weight room and stuff when my brother was in high school and, stuff like that. But no, I never really played any sports or anything. So
Wow.
I was a late bloomer when it came to this.
Oh, that's so cool. That's awesome. And how did you get started in bodybuilding, and who convinced you to do your first contest?
So little back history on me is I had an eating disorder, and one of my friends owned a gym. His wife was a dietitian, and I was at a point where I was very sick. I couldn't hardly take care of myself, let alone, my son was around 2 or 3 years old at that time. So I knew I was headed in a bad spot, in a bad place and stuff. So I just kind of reached out and asked him, hey, can you kind of show me the ropes in the gym? I know that this is part of it. And knowing that his wife was a dietitian, maybe she could, teach me a little bit about how to, nourish my body with the right foods and stuff, and, work my way back to getting healthier. So that kind of started that. And then he was like, there's this bodybuilding competition coming up, you've got a good little frame and stuff. You ought to think about it. Because I mean, I was a tomboy growing up and everything. I always was, helping cut wood. In school, we did tobacco, baled hay and things like that. So I was very active, but never in sports.
Sure.
So fast forward, that was 2006. I started the process of learning the gym and things like that. In 2007, I hesitantly stepped on stage in a little bikini for people to judge me, which was the last thing I ever wanted. But in order for me to overcome a fear, I had to face my fear,
Yeah,
So,
sure.
and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the process of knowing that I was in control of, changing my body a little bit at a time and stuff. And, I placed in the top 5 my very first show. So I was like, maybe I can do this.
That's
so
exciting.
Here we are, 2023, 2-time Olympian. And I think I liked it. So.
Yeah. Which year did you start competing?
2007 was my first show.
2007. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. And you said eating disorder. Did you have like anorexia?
So it was bulimia. Like I love to eat food, but then it was the vicious cycle of I felt guilty after I ate it.
Yeah.
So I purged, and after doing that several years and stuff, my body just started doing it on its own. So I was at that point to where intervention had to happen. I sought help, because it's not the life that my son asked for, it wasn't his problem or anything. So, and for the most part, I was just me taking care of him, so, if something were to happen to me, who was going to take care of him,
Yeah,
so
sure.
that was one of the main reasons why I sought help and stuff, is because, it wasn't fair to him. I wanted to be able to be there and take care of him. So.
Yeah, that's great. And so bodybuilding kind of helped you get healthy and turn your life around. That's terrific. That's really good. That's great.
It changed my relationship with food. Like it taught me, many things, a lot of blessings came out of it. I learned to love myself. Number one, that, social media and the press is not what's important, so that was one thing. But then it changed my relationship with food and how I looked at food.
Yeah, that's very cool. That's great. I'm glad to hear that. Now, I was curious, did you have a fitness role model when you first started competing?
No, not really. When I first started, it was just to better myself, to get myself nice and healthy and just feel more confident in my own skin and things. But I'm not saying that I didn't like, go to the grocery store when they had magazines and things like that. And I would see these beautiful women on these magazines, which before I looked at the girls who were skinny and were like the models and stuff. And it changed my mindset as I learned to change my relationship with food and stuff into, when I was working out, I started looking at the fitness magazines and stuff. And I saw the ladies, in the magazines that had a little bit of muscle and stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. So that kind of triggered some of the want and the desire to, put on some muscle and stuff, because I thought that was very intriguing. There were movies where women were a little bit more muscular, I just remember seeing them going, oh my gosh, I just think they're so beautiful. That's just a beautiful, specimen,
Yeah.
So, and then, as I started learning more about bodybuilding and stuff, I learned about like, Rachel McLeish, Corey Everson, Linda Murray and everything. And I thought these ladies are so beautiful, and I'm like, I think that I can do that, so it was a desire that was kindling and, starting to burn. So
That's terrific. No, it's good. I'm glad you started competing because you're really awesome. So yeah, a lot of folks look up to you too, I think. So yeah.
I hope that if people hear my story or, they learn about me or take the time to talk to me and stuff, that, it helps somebody that might be in this position, whether it be a female or a male. There's men that have eating disorders too, or, they have, low self-esteem or just not comfortable in their skin and stuff. I hope that, people don't mind reaching out and trying to talk to me about it, because I mean, a lot of us go through it,
Yeah, that's true. No, that's really cool. And that's cool that you want to help folks too. Now, I was curious, you mentioned about getting up on stage in a bikini. Were you really nervous when you did that?
Oh my, I remember we were in a little gym and we were going through like our posing routines and stuff. And I remember I was probably 4 weeks out from the show. And then the very first show I did was figure. So here I am wearing this little bitty bikini that I'm uncomfortable in. I'm going to be judged in front of all of these people. And then I have to wear high heels and makeup and hair and everything. So I'm totally out of my element, right?
Yeah.
So this is all new. I'm not used to doing hair, makeup, wearing heels, and all of that stuff. So I was very nervous, very, very nervous. And I remember when we were going through posing about 4 weeks out, I looked in the mirror and I just started bawling, and my friend was like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, I don't know if I can do this, But then, the mindset was, you have to look at where I was and where I was then, so, and it goes into that, loving yourself, so I guess it was about 2 weeks later, we were doing posing practice again. And I started crying again. And the guy was like, now what? And I'm like, look what we've done. My mindset had changed. I was upset and nervous at first, but as I started wrapping my head around what has been going on and how I'm progressing, I saw myself and I actually liked what I saw. I was like, oh my gosh, I was eating food, I was working out, and I was able to transform my body into something that I actually liked looking at.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but yeah, once I stepped off that stage the first time, I was like, okay, that's it. Let's go. What are we doing next?
Do you still get nervous on stage at all, or do you?
No, not really. No? I enjoy it.
That's terrific. That's so cool. No, that's really great. And yeah, I think that a lot of the ladies feel more comfortable over time, but I think that first time is just like, that's got to be really nervous and nerve-wracking. Yeah.
Yeah, I know with like my posing clients and other clients and stuff, like I try to go through the whole grommet of anything that could happen when you're on stage and stuff, just so they don't have, that unexpected, whatever, so that's one thing that I didn't have a whole lot of, is I didn't have a whole lot of people to let me know things to expect and things like that. So there was always these uncertainties or these things that would pop up that I was never prepared for. So I try to prepare my clients, for any type of situation that's going to happen on stage,
Yeah.
From being on the diagonals to being in the center to being on the end to call outs to like, I go over all of it. That way there's no surprises,
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's smart.
Just prepare them. Just prepare them.
Yeah, definitely. No, I think that's terrific. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, at the intro, you looked great at Masters O and you got fourth place there. What was your experience in Romania like? Did you enjoy going there?
Oh yeah, it was a great experience. There was a lot of uncertainty. Of course, you're going into a country that you've never been into. The language barrier, the money differences and stuff like that. You know, there was there was a lot of really great things. There was a lot of weird things to me. Like they're huge on pork. They're not big on steak. So I had to learn, a little bit about their cuts of meat because it was very limited on what their steak is and their chicken, not being able to read the language.
Yeah.
So thank goodness I have a translator on my phone.
Uh,
Our luggage got lost for 2 days. We didn't have luggage for 2 days.
oh no.
I didn't know when that was gonna show up. They don't have air conditioning in most places, which was a little awkward because we had rented an apartment for the week
Yeah.
and there was no AC. Well, I can't be sitting and sweating in my tan.
Yeah,
So
that's
to
true.
get a hotel for the Friday and Saturday so I wouldn't ruin my tan.
Yeah.
And the arena really didn't have any AC.
Really?
So it was pretty warm. I know Friday at check-ins, it was really, really warm. Everybody was just like soaked in sweat.
Hmm.
And then Saturday when we were doing our hair and our makeup, the little rooms that they had us in had no AC. So it was very hot.
Oh wow.
But for the most part, it was a good experience. I got to explore out a little bit and try some of their foods and stuff, which I must say it was very refreshing because it's very light, very fresh food. There's not a lot of preservatives and stuff, not super sweet. They don't over sweeten their stuff with sugars and stuff. So it was nice. But
Nice.
yeah, for the most part, stepping on the Olympia stage again was remarkable. I was sharing the stage with some amazing women.
Yeah.
And I would have never myself went to Romania just to visit, so it was a great experience and a great opportunity, and I'm very thankful for that. So
That's awesome. Was that your
yeah,
first trip to Europe, or had you been to Europe before?
yeah. I had really never been out of the country. I had only been to the Bahamas, and that was a cruise trip. So this is my very first time out of the country. So
Oh wow. You've made sure you
uh,
got your passport plenty of time ahead of time, right? Yeah.
that was an experience in itself. Like I reached out to our governor and to Rand Paul's office to try to get them to step in and help because we paid
Yeah.
for the expediting and all of that stuff and nothing was happening. And the passport office did not give me any answers. And we were down to less than 2 weeks away from the show. And I guess somewhere between those two emails, somebody slid it into Mitch McConnell's office, and his office contacted me, and they were so great. They were so helpful, and they did everything they said they were going to within the time frame that they said they were going to. And I guess it was about 8 days before we were supposed to leave, we had our passports. So
Wow.
I was getting really stressed about it because I was like, I've gone through all of this prep, and now I can't go. So, but the guy that was in the office was just amazing. He was on it. He made sure that we had what we needed. So,
Wow, that's terrific. That's really cool. Shout out to Mitch
yeah,
McConnell. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, his
yeah.
office took care of me. So I'm not into politics and all of that stuff, but I do know that somehow they got wind of me needing help, and they did exactly what they said they were going to do. So I do
Oh,
appreciate it.
that's terrific. Yeah, that's really good.
I will say that all I got from Andy Bashir's office and Rand Paul's office was spam mail. So
Oh,
at
really?
least Mitchell's office addressed it.
That's true. That's really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, that's great that they helped you out. Yeah, that passport process can be really stressful and it can
Yeah.
take a long time. And I think especially this year, for some reason, it seems like it's been taking
It's
a long time.
yeah, it's been crazy. Like customs was really weird and
Mm.
like I mean, I had never been through the process, so I was like, "Oh, this must be what it's like." But people were like, "No, this is different. This is not how it usually is." And I'm like, "Oh,
Oh,
okay."
wow.
So,
Yeah, that's kind of a pain,
but
huh?
all in all, it's like I tell people, I was very blessed to have this opportunity. Before we left, I just prayed that God got us there safe, that I was able to present my, package to the judges,
Yeah,
regardless of what happened at the judging and stuff, and that God get us home safe. And that's exactly what happened. So I feel like I've been very blessed, very fortunate.
yeah,
So anything else that came of it was a bonus.
that's terrific. I think that's great. Um, Now I know you've been a pro for a few years now. I was curious, what's been your favorite pro shows so far and why?
I tell you what, every time that I've done the New York Pro Show, it's always been a great experience.
Yeah.
Regardless of my placing, I know 2022 I won it, but even before I had won, just the atmosphere, the way that people welcomed us, the way the shows ran, the expediters and everything. Steve and Bev do a great job with their show. I don't have one complaint one from anything from the check-ins to prejudging, the way things are set up or nothing. Like their shows are always ran super smooth,
Sure.
and the expediters, I love the expediters. They're always awesome. His team there is amazing. And then I did New York this year, same thing, great experience. The show is always ran very well, and I love being at that show. So that's probably one of my favorite shows.
Terrific. That's great. Did you do New York Pro in Tampa when it was in Tampa in 2020?
No.
I was just curious. Yeah.
No,
It was.
no, I did Chicago when it was in Atlanta.
Oh yeah, I remember that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I did that. Yeah.
No, that's cool.
Been there, got the t-shirt. I got the t-shirt to prove it.
Yeah, that was a weird year for competing for
Yeah.
sure.
It was a weird couple of years, actually. I mean, it was, because I know we had several shows that were moved to different areas and stuff. Just so
Yeah,
we could.
that's true. I know. Yeah, I'm glad that they still put on those shows, and having New York Pro in Tampa was convenient for me. So.
Oh yeah.
Because I live in Tampa.
Yeah, so you'll be close to the Olympia then, because Orlando is where Olympia is this year.
Yeah, I might have a work conflict though. I might not be able to go, something like that.
I'll be taking some sick time.
Oh, I don't know. It's a big event, so I have to be there. That I work for an event, so we'll see.
Oh, you can't switch with somebody?
No. So we'll see. I'm praying that I'll be able to go still, or
I don't
go to
I don't know if I'll get to go or not. I'm gonna see. I wish somebody could cover my flight. I'm gonna reach out and talk to one or two of my sponsors that are gonna be there and see if I can't finagle a flight or something.
Sure.
I've got family that lives in Orlando, so I can stay with them
Oh,
if I
yeah.
go.
Sure.
So it's just getting the flight there,
Sure.
So
No,
so hopefully I get to go and cheer on all the women and all the competitors, of course, but my division and everything. And I want to be there to support everybody and meet and greet some fans and all that stuff. So
yeah, it's going to be a good show. I'm excited about it. Yeah, I'm really hoping I can go. So we'll see. Now, where do you hope to compete now?
I'll keep my fingers.
Oh, thank you.
Honestly, I don't. We haven't really talked about that because I've been competing since 2017 without a real break. So the longest break I think I've had in between preps has been like 3 months. So before we even went to Romania, I had made the decision that regardless of what happened, we win Romania, we go on to the Olympia, it's another 10 weeks. And then I'm going to take a long improvement season. Don't win the Romania, fine, it's time for me to take a break, So I look for my improvement season to be 6+ months.
Okay.
Romania, the athletes were responsible for everything, so nothing was paid for at this invite.
Yeah.
So financially, even with my placings and winnings, I'm in the hole, and I'm going to have to recuperate from that.
Yeah.
So it'll be a few months before I can even say, hey, I'm finally caught up.
Okay.
Because it's not a cheap trip. It's not a cheap trip. And my husband is my coach, and he goes with me everywhere I go. So I had both of our flights, both of our passports, I had the double whammy. So outside of that, physically, my body needs a break. I need to give it a break. I do my routine labs and all of that stuff. I've not had anything come up. I'm not saying I have any health issues or anything like that, but my body needs a break. I've been beating it to death for the last 6 years, 7 years. So it needs a break. It needs to be longer than 3 months. So minimum of 6 months. And then who knows? I enjoy traveling and stuff. So I may choose something that's out of the country. I may choose something that's, here. That's to be determined. At the end of that 6 months, we'll reevaluate and we'll see what you know, what the circumstances are and whatnot. So as
Okay.
long as I'm healthy, as long as I'm happy, as long as my body is doing what it's supposed to, and all of my labs and everything are where they're supposed to be, we'll see.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah. It'd be great to see you back on stage again. But I know
But I'm not
several,
hanging up.
well, I know some women who've, just taken a whole year off, and sometimes it just helps them a lot. Helps them make a lot of improvements too. So that's not a bad option too.
Yeah, I would say 6 months is the least amount that I'm going to take. I'm not going to say that I'm not going to take more.
Yeah.
Um, I just like to reevaluate, revisit in 6 months and see, see what's happening.
Sure.
I've got a son. My son's getting married the end of this. We'll see in October. It's few and far between that I've had like time to enjoy holidays and stuff with my family.
Yeah.
And I'm always in prep. I'm always in prep on my birthday. I'm always in prep on my anniversary. I'm always in prep on my husband's birthday. So I want some time to be able to focus on those relationships, outside of giving my body a break too. So
Sure.
our church is getting ready to move, and I would like to be a part of helping that transition and everything.
Okay.
And just a lot of different things. You try to keep that healthy, happy balance with a home life and everything. So,
Sure.
those things are just as important to me.
Oh yeah, I think that's important, very important actually. Now I was going to say, unfortunately, there's not as many women bodybuilding shows this year as compared to years past, and I was just curious, what's your take on that?
A couple of things. So yeah, there was like 4 or 5 less shows for us,
Yeah.
and now that they took the point system out, there's less opportunity for our division to qualify. Well, every division to qualify.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I think a lot of it has to do with, and it's not the promoter's fault. It's not the competitor's fault. I think it's as a whole, everybody needs to work together to make this work better. But if you look at the prize money, the prize's money is not there.
Yeah.
I think if they had more initiatives for the competitors, say, cover their tan or cover their makeup and hair, or reimburse something if you're in the top 5, or whatever at some of these shows, I think it would be less expense for the promoter as far as payout, as far as the prize money.
Mm-hmm.
Because they could probably get a deal with like the tanning people or the hair and makeup people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it would also help out the competitor with the cost that it's accumulative. Men, they don't have to do their hair and their makeup.
Mm-hmm.
And they get one suit. We have to have suits. We have to have the whole gamut.
Mm-hmm.
Or reimbursed up to X amount of dollars for your flight, or X amount of dollars, or take care of one night stay at a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Little things like that. But it is also up to us as competitors to promote these shows and get the butts in the seats.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
true.
I think as a whole, all of us could do more, to make these shows better, make them thrive, and start ourselves going out on a limb and say, hey, would you promote this show? This show is very important to me. This is the show that I turned pro at, or this is the show that, I qualified for the Olympia at. Would you want to help support this show?
Yeah, sure.
So it's both sides of the gamut. It's both of our responsibilities. I don't like to hear it say, well, if the girls would just show up, or well, if the promoters would just give more money. It works both ways. This is a business, and usually, you help feed each other's businesses. It works out real well. It's a business relationship. So,
I heard somebody, I forget who it was now, say they like the idea of having a survey, both when you're purchasing tickets for in-person bodybuilding show, or if you're purchasing live stream, but say what are you here for? Who are you here to see?
Yeah, I would love that. I would absolutely love if they could somehow, because I know that, every show I do, I purchase at least 3 or 4 live streams. I purchase one for my parents. If I have some dog sitter who usually is my friend, I'll purchase it for that. If I have somebody that's, if I have 2 people that are helping with the dogs at home or whatever, I'll purchase it so they can watch it. If somebody's sitting at the house with us, the house sitter or whatever, that's what I do. It's like, I'll do that so they can watch or whatever. Or if I know like my sister can't afford it, or, I have a friend who really wants to watch it, but they're like not tech savvy. I purchase the live stream so they can watch. So
Cool.
I know myself is I'm putting money into that promoter's pocket,
Yeah.
but I would love it if they could see, how many people bought tickets just to see Donna compete,
Hmm.
or, they purchased the live stream just to watch Donna. I think that would be a great incentive.
Yeah.
Give us a little kickback, give us don't give us a t-shirt, but give us a little kickback on something.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it would be a good way to show like how many fans are wanting to see the
Right,
women
right, right,
too,
right.
as opposed to the men,
I mean,
because men,
I had I had one, two, three. Hold on a minute. I had one, two, three, four couples that flew to Las Vegas to see me compete.
wow.
And then for New York, there were two different couples that flew from New York from here to see me compete.
Really?
So that the
Yeah.
people that are coming and following me to these shows, on top of the fans that live in New York or in Jersey, I mean, there was a lot of people that were at New York to watch me compete.
Yeah.
So that would be nice to, I've got fans that were in Romania, and it was
Yeah.
awesome because they were at the show.
Oh, yeah. No, the fans will travel too to go see a
Yeah,
show. And
one of them drove 6 hours to come see me at Romania.
oh,
You
wow.
know,
That's
that
terrific.
means a lot to me that they would take the time and the money, to come and watch me live on stage.
Yeah. I think
So
that's
yeah,
terrific. Yeah. That's really, yeah, that it is. Yeah, we have to work on that. We got to get this survey together.
be a great idea. Be a great
Yeah.
idea to get, if anything, get a clap. Hey, this is how many people that came to see you. At least know, you
Yeah.
know.
I know. I think it's a great idea. We're running a little bit low on time. We might have to do a part two, maybe.
Shoot, whatever.
Now, are your parents still alive?
Yes, my parents are still married. They're still alive. I'm very blessed to have them with me still.
What do they think about your bodybuilding career? Are they supportive?
Yeah, I think my mom's my biggest fan because she's I think she's ready for me to retire. She asks me all the time, when you can retire.
Uh-huh.
Not anytime soon.
Uh-huh. Very good. That's good. No, that's cool. Yeah, I've heard sometimes parents just don't understand it, they don't understand why you're doing bodybuilding or, it's just,
Yeah, my mom's cute. She'll be like, well, you're the winner in our book. Whatever happens, and I'm like, yeah, mom. And she's like, don't forget those girls worked hard. And I'm like, no, they worked hard, mom, but so did I. But it's just she's like, don't get your hopes up too high.
oh, that's cool. Oh, very
And
cool.
I'm like, I don't, mom. But she doesn't know enough about the sport to be like, go kick their butts.
Yeah, sure. I understand.
That's what my son says. My son says, go kick their butts. My mom, no. you know. So,
Um, Now, how about your
but
siblings?
yeah.
You had five siblings,
Hmm.
and that are they supportive too?
Yeah, I mean, they're all like, yeah, they don't get like super involved, but they're like, if that's what you want to do, good luck. Or, I'll have one that says, well, you're a badass, or the other one's like, great job. So, for the most part, some of them don't understand the psychology part of it and things, but they're not naysayers. They're like, no, don't do that.
Uh-huh.
So
That's great. Yeah. And you said you have one son, and
I
how
have
old
one.
is he?
He will be 30 in October.
Oh, wow. And he's getting married, you said too?
Yeah.
Wow, congratulations. That's exciting.
Yeah.
And do you have any grandkids yet, or are you
Yeah.
expecting?
I have a 7-year-old granddaughter and a 4-year-old grandson.
Oh, you do? Wow. I
Yeah.
bet what are they? Are they supportive of you? Do they say,
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. So my name is Tita, which is Arabic for grandmother.
oh,
So
wow.
their Tita is the best and the strongest. So
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, very cool.
yeah.
That's cute.
Yep.
Now, I was curious,
They're great.
oh, I bet. Yeah. Yeah, kids are wonderful. They're so cool. Do you have you mentioned coaching, but do you have like kind of a full-time career doing that, or do you have a career outside of bodybuilding?
Yeah, so I'm a personal trainer and a strength conditioning coach.
Okay.
So that's what I do full time. And then my husband and I work together for like contest prep and stuff like that, off season, on season prep.
Okay.
And I do posing, so I offer posing coaching and stuff. So
Great.
that's a full time job. I do that all through my prep and everything. I tell people, I run this show by myself. My husband's my coach,
Yeah.
as far as that goes. But other than that, I do all the cooking, I do my own training, I do my own posing, I do all of that myself.
Okay.
Um,
Great.
and he's my eyes and my mind when it comes to, not second guessing myself, doing my food, making sure it's right. Because I'm one of those people that would do a lot of cardio and I don't need to do it.
Okay.
So he's
Sure.
he's the he's the one that like pulls back the reins and keeps me straight on everything. So, but he's a
Great.
mastermind at it. I mean, every time we do a show, we improve. I never question anything. He's never going to do anything that's going to harm me. Of course, he
Yeah.
always wants the best for me. So, and it has its nice little balance. It works out really well. So,
Perfect. That's great. Yeah. Now, do you with what was I going to ask you? Kind of slipped my mind now. Oh, do you have lifestyle coaching clients too?
I have a few people that I do that. I think it's something fairly new in this area. Like people aren't really up to par on what lifestyle coaching is.
Yeah.
A lot of people go to therapists, you know,
Yeah.
and so I talked to several people and even some of my clients and stuff, and it's just something that I feel like I can talk to people and not be judgmental. I can help them, finagle their way around some issues that they're having without being that therapist or the husband telling what's wrong with them, or so
Yeah.
lifestyle coaching is kind of what I call it, but honestly, it's what I do. 9 times out of 10 with my clients, I'm their therapist.
Yeah.
So it just kind of goes hand in hand. So, but I've had a few people come to me and ask me, specifically for, hey, I need motivational speaking. I need, this, that, or the other. And so, I cater to whatever their need is. I don't want to be that over philosophical person. I want them to feel like they can come and talk to me and it feel like they're talking to a friend and me help them finagle whatever they're going through.
Yeah. I think a lot of people outside of bodybuilding don't realize that the coaches are kind of like a therapist in a lot of ways, So.
I mean, actually, if you looked at like just say the local sports teams around here, the sports therapists make a lot of money doing the same thing I do. They're just an ear. So I'm like, I need to check into what certification they have because insurance covers that.
Yeah, they're probably
accepting insurance, I'll be like, what's your insurance? No, not really. I'm not like
That's it. Yeah, potentially some good money there though.
well, I mean, their insurance covers it. So
I know that's not a bad way to go.
no, don't be stealing my ideas.
Oh, no.
That's my retirement plan.
Oh man. I have mentioned a few times that I think some of the bodybuilders could use like a chill coach. It's another type of coach, just to kind of summit because they do get, I think, kind of stressed and it's just so tough on your body and mind and everything, to prep for a show.
What I really would like to see is coaches nowadays teach their clients how to come off of the stage.
Yeah.
They prep for so many weeks and they're all ramped up and they have to be so, they don't teach them how to come down off of that high and how to slowly regress back into a normal life. And I'm not talking about just like a rebound type of with the food, but it's just life in general. I mean, I go through it every show. I'm going 90 miles a minute all the way up to the show. The show happens and then you hit a wall. It's dead stop. Everything stops.
Yeah, I understand.
So I come home and it's like, I still meal prep. I do all my meal prep and all of that stuff. I'm not doing as much cardio and stuff. I work more hours when I'm done with the show, but it's like there's that lull time and you don't know what to do.
Hmm.
Sit still very well. But I
Yeah,
know a lot of people, they fall into that depressive start, and it's because they don't know what to do.
yeah,
Or
I understand.
they're not taught that you slowly have to bring yourself back into a normal, routine. You just change what you're doing. You're not doing 2 hours of cardio. Yeah, go for a stroll, take the dogs for a walk. You got to fill that time differently,
Hmm.
because it is, you sit and you think, you sit and you get in your mind about, oh, I ate this, so I'm going to get fat, or, I mean, there's all of these different, scenarios that go through your head if you're
Sure.
not, if you're not